All right. All right, we're going to test here. This building was not designed for events, so the acoustics are kind of funny and rain gets loud. So let's see. Will, can you hear me? All right. Let's see. Seth, is that good? All right, cool. All right, everyone, welcome. We're going to kick off this event. I'm going to start off with thank yous. So first, I want to thank the town of Manchester for making this space for us and choosing composting. Thank you to the residents for believing in us and voting 91% yes to allow us to build this facility. The donors who helped us in a dark hour when the cost of the facility was going to be very high, and it went higher. Manchester Rotary Club, the garden clubs, individuals in town. We had our customers who donated $150,000 between 2,000 people. So thank you for all that. Yeah, that donation, that helped us have the confidence to like move forward. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a sound check. Will, can you hear me? No? Seth? No? All right. Like I said, this building's not made for this. Yeah. How about Seth? Sarah? I think we're going to take a rain pause. Hello, everyone. My name's Andrew Brusso from Black Earth Compost. Today, we are re-recording the speech from the opening ceremony of the North Shore Regional Compost Facility here in Manchester, Mass, which is right behind us. During the event, we had a torrential thunderstorm downpour that cut out the internet, and so the only way to see it would have been to be there. But we want to share the event, so we're re-recording today. To set the stage, we just had a major downpour. It became deafening inside the building because it's a fabric building. And I reminded people that this is the reason we have a building, so that we can compost inside and not be affected by major storms. So I was in the middle of my thank yous. I want to thank Seaside Sustainability for putting together a grant to help put this facility together. I want to thank the USDA for believing in our project and granting us money through the Fertilizer Production Expansion Program, and there's more on that later. I want to thank the Manchester DPW, CMA Engineering, and all of our construction vendors. And finally, I want to thank our Black Earth team. You guys might not realize it, but each of us doing our thing each day makes the whole thing work and brings this big picture together, which I'm going to talk about. And that includes the back office folks, the collection drivers, the fabricators, the compost site workers, and the managers. We're a great team. And because of this project, we now have a strong construction team to build more of these facilities. And I especially want to thank Kurt for his hard work and knowledge. Clapping. My goal here today is to describe to you what this place does and why it's the future of both the town of Manchester, the state of Massachusetts, and hopefully our nation. However, I'm going to start with a writing put together by an old friend, Rory O'Connor, who put it together from authors more famous than all of us. In the matters of human existence, the grave and sensible advice of Lewis Carroll to, quote, begin at the beginning cannot be heeded. We have no choice but to begin where we are, and where we are is in the middle. It's not given to us to stand on the far side of human space. We awake in the waters. Our beginnings are not wholly our own. Our endings will most likely be beyond our control. We are the middle people. We are inescapably related to this mystery of who we are and where are we. So today, we are standing on top of a pile of trash on top of a wetland. This pile of trash my grandfather would rummage through 60 years ago to make toys for his kids. But today, we dedicate this space to food waste recycling for the next 30 years. Clapping. This project started in 2017 when Black Earth contracted with the town of Manchester to provide food scrap collection service. We were able to offer the town a very low-cost collection service if we could compost the food waste in town. We told the town that we needed a building in order to responsibly do the composting on such a small space. 7 years later, at no fault of anyone besides the regular machinations of society, we have a building. More clapping. The town of Manchester is now a first mover in managing their food waste. When this facility is at full capacity, the town won't pay for their food scrap collection service for the next 30 years. If and when the DEP bans food waste at the municipal level, maybe 2030, the town of Manchester is all set. In addition, Black Earth, we manage the town's leaf and yard area for no charge. Residents get free high-quality compost, which they're picking up today. The facility can certify the destruction of invasive plants and animals, jumping worms, knotweed, all that. And Black Earth staffs the resident drop-off of recyclables, which is behind in that area. And I hope we can improve the service there. Electronics, still good stuff, textiles, batteries, etc. There's a lot of resources down there. So how does Manchester get all this? There's a couple key themes. Making space, using less fuel, sharing, and choosing the promise of composting to manage your municipal food waste. I'll get that later. What does this facility do? We take two wastes that cost municipalities money, food waste and yard waste, and we turn them into compost. What's compost? We'll get to that later. Our food trucks enter the building at the front. They dump inside. The compost sits in one of these bays and the tarp is down. And the aeration system keeps the compost airy and aerobic. The process air is treated through the biofilter, which is outside, which is actually there. And after 3 to 6 weeks, the compost goes outside, out the back, and the food's gone, and it's obtained pathogen kill and volume reduction. From there, we can cure the compost for use by gardeners, or we can send it out to agriculture immediately. And this is where it gets exciting. In late 2022, 1 month before we started construction, the federal government, through the USDA, put out a grant for the Fertilizer Production Expansion Program. What is that? The feds finally realized it's a national security issue that almost all of our fertilizer is imported from foreign countries where it's mined out of rock. Just like the elemental aluminum needed to make soda cans, which is mined from bauxite rock across the globe, the phosphorus in our bones and DNA, the nitrogen in our muscles, the potassium in our nerves was in a rock not too long ago. a machine extracted those elements from the ground. Large amounts of energy were used to process and refine that fertilizer, those fertilizer elements, and then it was put on a ship to travel across the planet to land in North America to be sold as fertilizer. The fertilizer then grew food that we ate. We are made out of rock mined from the earth. We get the elements needed to build new humans the same way we get iron and aluminum for your car. That's how it works in society right now. So the USDA's Fertilizer Production Expansion Program. Essentially, the federal government wants our country to develop domestic sources of the fertilizer nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, etc. Well, guess what's a large untapped source of those? Food waste. And where is it? Right here in the urban-suburban zone. Food waste coming out of these areas is like a never-ending fountain or a fire hose, however you like to look at it. I define the urban-suburban zone as inside Route 495 in our state. And we need to think of these urban-suburban zones as a resource for these fertilizer nutrients. What's the other resource in these zones? Carbon. It's in the form of yard waste and wood waste. The urban-suburban areas make a lot of yard waste. Rural areas, where the farms are, not so much. So yard waste is a resource that's uniquely plentiful to the urban-suburban area. What's the other source of carbon that we have here? It's in your hands. Most people had compostable cups, etc. Compostable packaging. It's made from plants, it's carbon. All life uses carbon as a container. Humans also need containers, so it's not surprising that they also make them out of carbon. We should continue to do this, but make those containers compostable. For example, all food contact packaging at the grocery store and all single-use plates, cups, etc. could be compostable. Beyond being a carbon supply for compost, this packaging adds porosity to our piles and makes the compost process work better. So this means by choosing composting, you can divert more of the waste stream than if you're using anaerobic digestion, which depackages that out and sends it to trash. Society needs containers, so let's leverage that to make another source of carbon in the urban-suburban area. So why do we need all this carbon from yard waste, wood waste, and compostable packaging? Because this facility converts that carbon into an amendment that can build soil carbon. That amendment's called compost. Soil carbon, also called soil organic matter, what makes soils rich. When we talk about soils being depleted, it's because this soil organic matter is mostly gone. Organic matter is what holds on to water and nutrients. Soils without much organic matter either don't absorb water well, so stormwater runs off and creates erosion, or the soils can't hold on to the stormwater, so the rain washes right through and the soil's dry within a few days and thus needs irrigation. More stuff. The same thing happens with fertilizer applied to a depleted soil. It washes right through. So imagine a farm like that with depleted soil. The farmer will have to spend more time keeping their plants alive because the soil can't provide those services. That means more passes on the tractor, more mined fertilizer, more irrigation water. Now imagine a farm with soils that are rich in dark organic matter. Their soils hold on to water and nutrients. The plants access this rich sponge to get what they need. The farmer has to do less work to keep the plants going. Less fuel, less time, less stress. And remember, that's one of our themes. We want to build a system that needs less. Compost is a source of that soil carbon. And when you make it with food waste, then you get the nutrients with it. This facility produces rich food waste compost. Now that you understand the resource potential of this urban-suburban zone, I want to introduce the plan. Boys, reveal the plan. This is where Cody and Colin remove the sheet. So, and there's much clapping due to the theatric unveiling. So, this is the plan. We're going to make compost over here in the urban-suburban zone on the right, using the two resources we have, food waste and yard waste. Then we're going to send it back here to the rural areas to build soil and help farmers grow food. Then the food is sold back over to here, the urban-suburban zone. This is a tight network called the regional food system. A strong regional food system makes our state of Massachusetts stronger. We are less dependent on farms on the other side of the country. We're less dependent on fertilizer mined from foreign soils. Rich soil means the farms are more resilient to crazy weather from climate change, drought and deluge. This plan we are proposing links the rural and urban, the red and the blue, in a system that each can be proud to participate in. This plan uses the resources that each area has. The rural areas have space and farming know-how. The urban-suburban areas have food waste, yard waste, and compostable packaging. This is sharing, which again is one of our themes. This plan is for a decentralized network of compost sites in the urban-suburban zone. Every 10 municipalities gets one of these buildings. That is great because it shortens the food scrap collection truck distance, avoids highways, and doesn't contribute to traffic like large centralized facilities would. Less fuel, that's a theme. And if electric trucks is the direction society wants to go, this model works great for it because of the short distances. We only need trucks with regular size batteries since we're not driving across the state. Another point on this plan, if we're committed to sending compost to the rural areas to grow food, then we can produce more compost here by growing more trees. When we keep our suburban streets cooler with more trees, then we need less electricity for air conditioning. Again, the theme, less fuel demand. Another point, the purpose of food waste recycling is to get the nutrients back to agriculture. This plan is the least fuel way to do that. When food waste is depackaged, you have to add water, then truck all that food waste out to the rural area. With this plan, we do the processing here in the urban-suburban areas to get the finished product. And that finished product, the finished compost product, is half the size because composting reduces volume. Now we have half the volume of material to send out to the farms. That's less fuel and less trucks than trucking the food waste and yard waste separately. Again, less, it's a theme. Less, it's a theme for society. The USDA grant helps us jumpstart this plan. We made a commitment with the grant to send compost to farms at a subsidized rate to get them started to see these benefits. This is how we jumpstart the sharing. If anyone knows farms that would be interested in participating over the next 3 years, please let us know. We will prioritize farms that are growing food. This plan is achievable because it's not even that expensive. For example, one high school costs about $50 million. With that money, we could build 25 of these facilities across the state. All we really need is space. We are grateful that Manchester saved a space for waste. This is sharing. A word of warning to municipalities, Don't let residential encroach on your municipal land. A word to the state, don't let 40B projects turn far-flung regions of towns into residential. We need to remember to leave affordable space for not only the commercial and industrial ideas of today, but also the ideas of tomorrow. Because once land turns residential, it never turns back. We have choices to make in the next few years. A lot of the grocery stores, large restaurants, food processors, and other large food waste generators are already going to anaerobic digestion. However, municipal food waste is largely untapped and is looking for a home. Composting is best suited for this feedstock because it contains a lot of bones, rinds, plate scrapings, corn cobs, and stuff that would get depackaged out and go to the trash. Composting is the place for municipal food waste, and it can be done in small facilities like this. This facility is designed to exist in places where there are neighbors and there is very little space. Black Earth has developed the team, the collection model, and now the composting model to make this a reality. I urge you to choose composting for municipal food waste. We can build out this plan. The promise of composting is to treat the food waste and yard waste as a resource of carbon and nutrients to grow new food. Let's make our towns, states, and the whole country more self-sufficient with this plan. In doing so, we reduce the total fuel and fertilizer we need to extract from the rest of the world. I believe that this will nudge us a little bit closer to world peace and healthier soils and humans back here at home. Thank you.
But along comes Black Earth and catalyzes our thinking from one of reaction to one of proaction, of saying, let's take the opportunity for carbon sequestration, for the development of nutrients, for the reduction of solid waste, and for the creation of economic opportunity. Let's roll all of those things into something we can all believe in as a project. And I know it's taken a little bit of time, but actually when you think about it, for the magnitude of what's happening here, it's actually been moving fairly quickly because of dedication and commitment and leadership. And that leadership is nowhere more exhibited than in the town of Manchester by the Sea. John, for you and Greg and the board and everyone in this town, thank you for seizing this opportunity for a rather unconventional use for a municipal resource. To say, we'll take the lead, we'll be out front. We're not a big town, but they're gonna hear us roar going forward because of what's happening right here. So congratulations to everyone for making this happen. This is a day that has been coming for a while, but it's a day when we can be here and we can look out and we can see a different future than the one that we would otherwise have had. And it's a bright future, it's an innovative future. Mother Nature is expressing the approval of this project here today. And it celebrates the very best of who we are in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, on the North Shore, and in the town of Manchester by the Sea. Looking forward, seizing the opportunity, and transforming the way that we approach this particular issue. Everyone here deserves a huge amount of gratitude and thanks, and I do look forward to seeing the next one of these built, and the next one, and the next one, and I look forward to Black Earth being the Johnny Appleseed of compost facilities all across this state and this country. And so I would ask you to join me back up here because I do have a citation for myself and my colleagues in the Senate. I would point out that this is not biodegradable, and I do not expect to see it being subject to compost.
It's recyclable.
It is recyclable by putting it on the wall. And so this is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Senate, and it reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Black Earth Compost in recognition of the establishment of your location on Pine Street in Manchester. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by our clerk. This is signed by our Senate President, Karen Spilka. It's attested to by Michael Hurley, our clerk, and I'm proud to offer it on a day when we got together under a tent. We were reminded just how impactful and important our environment is, and we celebrate the fact that together we are taking leadership to be the good environmental stewards that our destiny requires. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bruce. I'm going to ask, so Representative Margaret Ann Ferrante, I just met her a couple weeks ago at the opening of the UMass Marine Station upgrades. And I don't know a lot about you, but I'm excited to start working with you too. Because
Thank you, Andrew. And the fun we shall have working together. Today, listening to you was so informative. And you took this opportunity to teach us all a little bit more about the environment that we knew when we walked in here. And young kids especially will ask me, they'll say, Representative Ferrante, you're in all of those hearings at the State House about the environment, about emissions, about wind generation, about everything that goes on in sustainability. How do you stay so optimistic about climate change and about what's happening and about what we're going to do? And the answer is because of people like you, Andrew. Okay, this is extraordinary. I'm going to get to everybody else too, but this is extraordinary. A lot of times I tell the young kids, don't look for the next person who's coming to have the idea. Look at yourself. And you did that, Andrew. You looked in the mirror and you said, I have something to offer. And this may be the craziest idea ever, right? But look at that chart. We're going to make compost. We're going to send it out to Western Mass. We're going to feed farms. We're going to make people healthier. We're going to prove that it's about sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. And when I listened to your speech, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there were 5 different sections. And if we broke out a title for each one of those 5 sections, it would be sustainability, 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 sustainability. And you're the reason why we have optimism today. And as you were about to point out, it's not just you, right? The exciting thing is you came forward and you said, I have an idea. In the town of Manchester, and John's here and Becky's here, you looked around and I saw Greg, and I know I'm missing some of the selectmen and I apologize for that, but you looked around and you said, we're going to take a bet on this idea. It didn't just happen. Andrew just didn't come up and say, I'm going to be the be all end all with this idea. You had to buy in. And not only did you buy in, but if I read the statement correctly, and if I heard you today correctly, 2,200 people on a GoFundMe page said, we believe in this idea. And how lucky are we? How lucky are we to have you, Andrew? How lucky are we to have the town of Manchester? How lucky are we to have 22 individuals that came forward and say, we support this. And the reason we support this is because we know how important this planet is. And the reason we support this is this gives us one victory as the climate changes, to say we can do things and we can do it better. We can make people healthier. Think about that. We can make people healthier. We can reduce waste. We can make our farms stronger. You just mentioned everything that in politics we like to call apple pie. You got the flag raised, you got the apple pie served, and I can't be more prouder of the job that you have done. And not only is this Manchester's pride, but it's going to be the region's pride because you weren't afraid to dream big. You dreamed big, you answered the call, you put the marker down, and you led a force of over 2,200 people forward to say, we're going to do it. We're not just going to do it for the town of Manchester, but we're going to do it for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So Andrew, please come up here with me. I have a citation also. It reads, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Black Earth Compost in recognition of the establishment of the North Shore Regional Compost Facility in Manchester by the Sea. The entire membership, and when it says the entire membership, the senator might not have mentioned this, but we have to have our colleagues sign on to these citations. So I have 160 members in the House who were waiting to see how successful you are because they know that what you're doing today is replicable and they know that they can bring it to other regions and other parts of the state to continue that balance of reducing waste and investing in the soil. Be it hereby known that the entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune, and we need you. We need that hope for future good fortune because you're saving the planet and continued success in all endeavors. It's given the 14th day of June, 2024. It was signed at the State House today by the Speaker of the House, Ronald Mariano, and offered very proudly by me, your state representative and new partner in all endeavors, Ann-Margaret Ferrante.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Representative Margaret Ann, she touched on sustainability. And, you know, I love that word, sustainability, ability to sustain. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, our ability to sustain food production, sustain services here. That's what we're trying to do. I'm going to invite Select Member John Round up to the podium to speak for the town of Manchester now.
Thank you, Andrew. And it was great to hear all of the comments from Ann-Margaret and Bruce. I think sustainability was really the theme behind all of that. As we all listened to Andrew's comments, it was like going back to school. There was chemistry, there was biology, there was economics, there was business. There was no question there was a little political science thrown in there to make all of this happen, for sure. But I thank all of you for joining us today on this wonderful occasion. As a member of the Select Board, it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the grand opening of Black Earth's new compost facility. Now, I want all of you to take a look around here and take a deep breath through your nose, not through your mouth. This place will never smell as good as it does right now, ever again. So today, we celebrate not just the launch of a newly updated state-of-the-art enterprise, but a commitment to sustainability, innovation, and community well-being. Black Earth is taking a significant step forward in efforts to promote environmental stewardship. In an era when environmental issues are at the forefront of our minds, Black Earth inspires hope and encourages change. Composting transforms our organic waste into rich soil that can be reused in gardens, farms, and landscapes. And by converting waste into valuable resource, we are closing the loop in our ecosystem and ensuring that our community remains vibrant and green. The Select Board and the entire Manchester community would like to extend its heartfelt congratulations to Andrew and his colleagues at Black Earth for their vision, hard work, and dedication. Back in 2011, when you started the company, composting was a thing, but it wasn't a big thing. Your approach and commitment to sustainability has led to growth, not only here in Manchester, but to all of Cape Ann and beyond, as we can see in the map that you showed earlier. The town has been proud to partner with you in this endeavor, which also aligns with the town's environmental goals. Moreover, this business will play an important educational role here in Manchester. By engaging with schools, the community groups, and residents, it will help spread awareness about the importance of composting and sustainable practices. And yes, even engineering in building and operating a modern facility such as this. Knowledge is power, and Black Earth will empower our community and foster a culture of responsibility and care for our environment. So while we all can celebrate the launch of this new facility here on Pine Street, there's one group that's not doing much celebrating today, and that's the seagulls. Their all-you-can-eat buffet on School Street is gone. There are probably at least a few of the birds that have found this new location, but they further learned that modern technology in a building such as this has foiled any plans for a continuing free lunch. So it's back to Singing Beach snacks, which is a much harder score for them, as you all know, unless you're under 2 or 3 years old. And when my kids were that young, yes, they did lose food from time to time. So I encourage you all to support Black Earth through curbside collection and spread the word about their services. We can make a difference, one compost heap at a time. Thank you once again for being here, and congratulations to Andrew and Black Earth. Here's to a prosperous and sustainable future.
Yep. Seagulls are actually my favorite bird. You know, they're out there in the winter just hanging out in the storms, and it's just incredible to see. It's a good bird. Next, I'm going to invite up Scott Soros. He's the state director of the USDA, and another person I'm just meeting and looking forward to work more with.
Thanks very much, Andrew, and thank you all. I was going to say great to be here on such a beautiful day in Manchester, but what was a beautiful day in Manchester by the sea. But it's great to be here. As Andrew mentioned, my name is Scott Soros. I'm the state director for USDA Rural Development for Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And I'm thrilled to be here today on behalf of President Biden, Secretary Vilsack, to offer USDA Department of Agriculture's collective congratulations. And to all of you, as we formally open and dedicate this expansion of the North Shore Regional Compost Facility here. I'd especially like to call out the Senators Tarr, Representative Ferrante. It's been a true pleasure to work with you both for many years, and to see that your dedication and commitment to your communities is just as strong as it was when I first met you so many decades ago. And to the community itself, as Andrew mentioned at the top, these kinds of projects, and I know these kinds of projects in particular, don't happen without strong support from communities such as yours. And the select board itself behind all of that to make these things happen. It's critical to make these things happen. I know from my former days working at the state that when we look at facilities like this, you have to go what's called a solid waste site assignment licensing, that when most folks hear that in communities, they cringe and don't want to see these kinds of operations get going. So again, kudos to the town for really making that happen, and to all of you for supporting the project itself. I'd also like to recognize members of my team who are here with me today that truly do the hard lifting for our programs. The fertilizer production enhancement program is just one of a suite of 70, that's 70 programs that we administer through USDA Rural Development to really help encourage and develop the prosperity, economic development in rural communities such as this. Jacob Charette is here. He's our program director, who I know Andrew has known for a lot of years. And our area director for outreach, economic community development, Lyndon Nichols. Where are you, Lyndon? I can't see. There you are. There you are. who likewise works with our team to really make these projects go. I know you already heard a bit from Andrew on the project itself and the program, but just a little bit more about that program and our investments in this project. The $1.7 million grant that we provided for the investment to this was made possible through the Biden-Harris Fertilizer Production Enhancement Program, and was really intended to really get at reduced costs for farmers, reduced costs of generation of fertilizer here in the United States. Andrew touched on this. As much as this project will be and is critical to local communities and food waste handling, it's also a national security issue for us. And in fact, if not for the proactive development through the Biden-Harris administration, where we were able to channel funding without going through legislative process to make $500 million available nationally for this program, we would not see this today. And I think we might all be a little bit wetter if not for the investments that kind of invested in the roof on the place we're here today. That program has really been important for us and to ultimately reduce costs. And I appreciate Andrew's graphic here, because not only the cyclic nature of food systems and regional food systems here, not only critical to providing food, but also to reducing costs. I mean, the reality is costs of fertilizer, costs of fuel is what's driving up the costs of food for all of us at this point. The more that we can offset those costs that are borne by those who are producing the food in our own communities, the better off we'll all be, and the better our food security will be for our own regions. Certainly, current international developments point to that, but most certainly back a few years during the pandemic, we also learned a lot more about how important food security was and will remain moving forward. So these kinds of investments, again, not only help us in the local communities, but also help us establish and strengthen our resiliency and give us the ability to weather more storms, none pun intended, as we move forward. The grants have been used to support through this program independent, innovative, sustainable, there it is again, that word, American fertilizer production for American farmers and to expand manufacturing here in the United States. That innovation is key for us at Rural Development. That's what we're all about. Is trying to look at these innovative projects so that we can ultimately then move the needle on economic prosperity for our own individual communities. Although the USDA award covered a little more than half of the project cost here for this operation, we fully recognize that if it wasn't for the support of you all, and certainly for the heavy lift of Andrew and his team here at Black Earth, this project wouldn't happen. So again, I want to extend my deepest gratitude and the gratitude of the administration for all of the support and work that you all have contributed to make this happen. Your collective work, and again, no pun intended on the collection part of that, is not only turning environmental liabilities into environmental benefits, but also contributing to local economies and prosperity in rural communities such as Manchester by the Sea, and I submit across the country. So although we don't have a proclamation to hand out, Andrew, I will encourage you to come back to us. We love frequent flyers. We have a lot of funding, thanks in large part to the Inflation Reduction Act. That's really bumped up our energy profile. In fact, Jacob Charette, who's with you here today, is the program director for those programs in particular. So don't hesitate to come back to us as you look at your expansion plans. And if not us, although we'd love to see more of these in Massachusetts, in Connecticut, and Rhode Island, I have about 47 different colleagues across the country that I'd love to introduce you to. So thank you again. Thanks for having us here today, and congratulations on your project. We look forward to working with you.
All right, and finally, we're going to invite up the Chamber of Commerce to lead us in the cutting of the ribbon.
I'm Karen Risteman. I'm the president of the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and Steve Buckley is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. And we welcome Black Earth Compost as a member of the Chamber of Commerce and as advocates for the business community of the Greater Cape Ann region, which is 5 communities. We will do our level best to make sure that all of our businesses are not only aware of this systems change effort, but using this systems change effort in their businesses.
And I would like to speak not only from the Chamber of Commerce, but also as a customer, a longtime customer of Black Earth Compost. And every week when I put my bin out on the curb, I feel like I'm making a difference. I'm doing my part, and everybody here is doing their part. But we're really here to recognize Black Earth Compost and their leadership. When we decided to start a sustainability committee, they jumped on board as quick as you could and were a founding member and really pushing sustainability efforts throughout our community, the business community, and really the sky's the limit. We're just getting started. So with that, we'd like to come up and present a certificate. And the certificate reads, Certificate of Recognition presented to Black Earth Compost. Congratulations on the grand opening of Black Earth Compost North Shore Regional Compost Facility. The investment you make in this community is recognized by many. Signed June 14th, 2024, duly signed by Steve Buckley, CEO of the Greater Cape Ann Chamber, and Karen Risterman, Board President of the Greater Cape Ann Chamber. Congratulations. So to get the ceremony, get the scissors going, what we always love to do is have as many people up in the photo as possible. So we love to welcome the Black Earth team and anyone else that wants to get in here. So come on up, the more the merrier. We want to celebrate this as a community. Yeah. So we always like to, before we cut, we do a lot of photos. Okay. Yeah, these are legitimate.
I'd like to give the honor of cutting to Connor Miller, who started the business 13 years ago. He said they do a picture with him open first.
So we're going to get some photos first. Those are super sharp. So just keep the hands behind them. So we want to get some photos first. So, yeah.
So we got to organize it.
Yeah.
First of all, grab the ribbon, make it taut,
Yeah.
stand like that, look up so we can get ready. Start on the right and move to the left.
Yep. Start over here.
Start over there.
Let's look over here and then go this way.
Now move toward the center.
Bruce, have you done a few of these before?
All right. Everybody got a hold on.
Those real scissors.
Don't cut that.
All right, watch your hands, kids. Don't get pinched.
Everybody make sure you cut it, still look up. No one's going to cut your fingers off. They won't go in the compost.
But we could compost them if we needed.
Are you ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Super sharp.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. All right, thank you, and we'll have refreshments.